And with that, now we'll move on to a couple of updates from federal partners. And first up is Tom Fish, Director of the CESU Network.
So Paul, I do have some slides. If it's okay, I'll just share screens.
Of course.
And get that going. I can find it here. Let's see.
There, we've got you.
Seen a slide?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody too for the invitation just to give an update from the National Program Office, the NPO. My name is Tom Fish. I'm the National Coordinator for the whole CSU program. And I'll just give you an overview of a few things. I can advance this here. Let's see. So, and I brought in a couple of kind of overview slides in case those on the call are maybe new to the program. So the network, national network, has 17 regional CESUs based on biogeographic regions, and Great Plains right there in the center of the screen, established in 2000, and would be up for renewal next year or in 2025, just as you know that, but FYI. 2024 is the 25th anniversary of the program being implemented on the ground. The first CSUs were established in 1999, so kind of a celebratory year for the program this year. And then on the right, just kind of the three main focus areas of the program: research, technical assistance, education, and training. Many projects fall within one or more of maybe all of those sometimes. But there's a training component or there's professional development, especially with grad students. Most of the projects involve students in one way or another. And then the kind of strategic areas here: collaboration, innovation, finding innovative ways of partnering to do great natural culture resource project work, generating new knowledge to help inform decisions, and then evaluating how we're doing. That's part of that 5-year cycle for each of the CESUs, but also at the National Program Office, taking a look at how things are going. Where are we now? How did we get here? Where might we go in the future, given how the program is growing? And across the bottom is our 19 agencies that are part of the program now. Just a quick schematic of how the program's structured. So from the Interagency Council at the top, with all the representatives of 19 agencies, regional participation by federal agencies, and then the CESUs in the center of this diagram, where there's a host institution, so University of Nebraska in this case, with a director and staff, duty stationed federal employees. For example, Brandon, that's there for the National Park Service. But we have participation by federal agencies, state and local agencies, nonprofit and non-governmental organizations, tribes and tribal agencies, and academic institutions, all through that multi-partner 5-year agreement that has the terms and conditions and conveys the programmatic indirect cost rate and participatory language and authorities from the agencies and such, and contacts for all of the participating organizations. And then all that focused energy is aimed at wherever agencies have jurisdiction or management units like parks and forests and national wildlife refuges, et cetera, or particular public trust resources, threatened and endangered species, or particular study areas. So that's just kind of a general schematic of how the program is structured. And then in terms of the program participation, at this point, we've got now about 521 partners in the program. That includes the federal agencies and non-federal partners. And enrollments at the bottom of the left bulleted list there is how many partners are enrolled across the 17 CSUs. So that number is larger because we have some partners that are enrolled in more than one CSU. So that's larger than the number of unique partners. And then the right figure here just shows the distribution in terms of types of organizations, whether they're federal, institutions of higher education, NGOs, tribal government, state government, local government. And the last three there, the W's, are withdrawals over the last 25 years. So some partners have left the program. It's a smaller number. And then I did a similar graphic for the Great Plains that just shows the trajectory of partners enrolled in the Great Plains over the last 20 plus years, and also including the distribution of partner types. Here's the list of 19 federal agencies that are currently in the program with the representatives that sit on the council. All the agencies participate through it's a 6-year memorandum of understanding, and it's been renewed now 5 times since 1999. And then we do have CESU host university representation on the council as well. So the 2 reps right now are Nate Nibbling from the Piedmont South Atlantic Coast CSU in Georgia, University of Georgia, and Sanjita Judge, who's at the Desert Southwest CSU at the University of Arizona. And so we have a council meeting coming up next week, and council members and those reps on behalf of the host universities sit in on that meeting. I put this in because we did have a national meeting, our first national meeting face-to-face last year in 5 years. And we had graphic facilitation. So that's a couple of those images there. We talked about a whole host of things, programmatic and functional aspects, operational aspects of running CSUs, including funding, enrollment, streamlining some of the processes, the administrative and bureaucratic processes that we have to go through. But then talking about interesting subject matter areas, for example, we had a plenary on One Health and the intersection between people and the environment. And we had some really, really rich conversations about that. In fact, I just got an email yesterday and follow up from some of the leaders that were our plenary speakers last year, asking how can we continue the conversation going forward to engage. And I know, for example, that some of the Great Plains partner organizations fit squarely in that kind of that realm between people and nature, working landscapes, that sort of thing. So there's opportunity, I think, there coming in the future for funding as well. And then finding ways to leverage the CSUs to either work across regions, add new partners, tackle new topics, finding innovative ways of partnering. We've got some proposed ideas to work closer with state fish and wildlife agencies and that sort of thing, and tribal colleges, community colleges. So changing a bit of the composition of the partnership and broadening it, I think. So there's some innovative ideas there as well. Here are some of the topics that were discussed. So in emerging topics, looking at ecosystems, not only in pristine environments, but all the way to, urban environments, Central Park, so from the most remote place to the most urban place. Integrating indigenous knowledge in Western science, as I mentioned, bringing health and nature together, climate adaptation, and then some priority areas: diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, science translation. How do we get the great work that's being done by the partners on these projects into the hands of those that can make use of that information to inform decisions and that sort of thing? And then looking at how we can partner on a regional scale or trans-regional scale. And then this is from our last council meeting, just a snapshot of things that are being discussed at the National Program Office level. The renewals, this is our slate of renewals this year, the first 4 CSUs, and then Hawaii that joined in the last round. Going through the various steps, I don't need to read all of these, but continued conversation about funding the host institutions to be able to do the work that they are on tap to do. Putting together some new policy memos related to streamlining applications, how to address partners that may have fallen inactive, tracking projects. I saw there was some conversation here during this meeting so far about sharing project data. And so we have a memo coming out that's just going to formalize that a bit. And we've built a national program database, project database for that purpose as well. There's been a pretty vocal request from the agencies for guidelines on how to do projects, because all of the different agencies have a little bit different way of doing work. We've heard about projects from the Fish and Wildlife Service and the National Park Service, but we have Department of Energy, Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Reclamation, NOAA, others, and it's not a one size fits all. So that's helpful to have some sort of how-to guidance from the agencies. So we're hoping to advance that this year as well. And then working groups, we have a diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility working group, and I'm going to have another slide here in a second about that. And then talking about 25th anniversary recognition activities, and we'll have a 2024 national meeting in July of this year. So just one two more things. One, this is our draft diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility statement that I just sent out this week for review and comment. Really, we are aware that we are an organization of organizations. Most organizations already have some type of DEIA or JEDI or other statement and principles. So we're trying to draw from good examples, but then also make that visible for our program. We think it's a very important aspect to be advocating for in the carrying out of projects through the CESUs. And then lastly, I'm just giving a plug to this funding opportunity for postdocs. The National Park Service, National Park Foundation have joined forces to establish a Scientist in the Parks Fellowship Program. This information is available on our cesu.org website under the funding opportunities with the URL to that. It's also on the slide here. But take note that the deadline is the 28th of January, so that's coming up pretty quickly. But if folks want to pass that along to their students or graduating PhDs as a potential opportunity for them to get a funded project, I would suggest you do that. That's it, unless there's any questions. Happy to answer those. And if you think of something later, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Great,
and I'll
thanks.
stop sharing.
Any questions for Tom? Looks like you covered it, Tom.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.